Hello and welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, the Professor Russ Stevens, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's JP's first son, Tim Hoey.
Tim in the car.
For you tonight. Yeah, right.
I'm looking at like this gigantic moon right now, right on the.
I know, it's
moon
incredible.
Spectacular.
And because it's a full moon.
Hey, Timmy, you got to focus on one thing at a time. You got the moon, the show, and the driving. So just pick one.
Try the driving.
Multitasking.
And because it's a full moon, Russell, you have to understand, you have to give us a little slack tonight. It's a full moon. We could have some erratic behavior.
Oh, the crazy's out, I can tell.
Yeah.
The crazy is out.
The voice of reason will rein you right in.
Yeah,
It's
right.
a long one for me tonight, I'm afraid.
He's going to get the whip out very soon. All right,
Yeah.
boys, we're going to start some breaking news. Coming out of the Celtics camp, Ime Udoka does not get the Nets job. You think maybe, guys, that it was a little call from one Adam Silver saying, the Celtics have morals and what you don't?
Yeah, it was really, it was a strange situation because it never rose to the league level. But it was really odd that what you end up doing is you end up having different franchises with different levels of ethical sort of standards, which you can't really have, right? You don't want that to be the case.
Yeah, sending dick pics should be banned in all 30 franchises.
Wait, he sent dick pics?
That was the rumor right from the start.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I've heard more things.
Weird guys.
The reporting went from
90 seconds into the show.
Inappropriate suggestions to inappropriate gestures, to inappropriate messages. The way the reporting has gone.
We're 90 seconds into the show, and Timmy's just about to quote Ballsack Sports. So this is already off the rail.
Hey, did anyone see that Bob Ryan article this week?
No.
I did not.
It was about Kyrie, and it mentions like this dysfunctional Nets organ. It was about the Nets, and the dysfunction. And how dysfunctional is it that they're about to, after all that they've been through, they're about to hire Ime Udoka. Like, it just adds to the chaos. It made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Not to hire him. Absolutely.
The whole thing for them goes back to that awful trade for Harden. Wasn't it Harden that they gave up Karis LeVert and Jared Allen and made the Cavs a championship contender?
Well, anybody who acquired Kyrie Irving, Boston Celtics, would know that he will ruin a franchise, and that's what he's doing with the Nets.
Scotty, I think you're right, though, Scott. I think the Nets got a call from Adam Silver. That makes the most sense, right?
Well, that's what they said happened a couple days ago. 2 days ago, they were reporting that Adam Silver had put the kibosh on it.
Guys, here's a question. If the Spurs stuff with what Josh Primo does not happen, does not come out at this time, in this timeline, is Udoka the coach of the Brooklyn Nets right now?
I don't know. That's a great question. I think you still may have that problem of what's bad for one franchise is okay for another. And I just don't think, I think it's hard to square that up.
The Kyrie situation blowing up and the Ben Simmons situation and the Kevin Durant wanting to, Silver had to step in and say, hey, let's calm it down here and go back to playing basketball.
Yeah, because Joe, great point, because unless you employ only males at the Brooklyn Nets, and there are no female employees, it looks like you're putting them at risk. And if Udoka
no Jewish employees either.
But if Udoka does something, he acts poorly, which is probably a pattern. Mm-hmm. With the Nets, they have a hell of a lawsuit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They would be liable because they knew going in that he had transgressed in the past.
So, Timmy, where does this put Udoka? Apparently, he's getting paid half a salary this year. Does Udoka now ever coach in the NBA?
That's a very good question, because he certainly has the ability to lead men. is displayed that. And even the Celtics came out, a lot of the Celtics came out like they were confused. They thought he was coming. They legitimately thought he was coming back. That it shows you that's a lack of communication between the front office players. You know, it's should he serve his penance a couple of years and then come back? I mean, you can't. This is the way this guy feeds his family. I mean, what's a couple of years out to come back? Let him back in. Maybe
Yeah, I don't even know if it needs to be 2 years, Tim. You know, there just needs to be long enough where he can spin the narrative of I went and got help. You know, I've done a lot of reflection. I found Jesus, whatever version of I had time to deal with the stuff that caused the bad behavior. But 6 weeks, no one thought 6 weeks was a long enough time.
I'll tell you, if you read the comments on the internet, there's a huge percentage of the population that said, this guy did nothing wrong, two consenting adults, like, why is he being punished?
Yeah, that's just the cover story. That's not even the facts of the matter, Jim. These people don't know anything, and yet they're commenting.
But
exactly right, Joe.
But Joe, that's why it's very important, because we know where all the media speculation sometimes even comes from our show, first 90 seconds, is that, you know, all these rumors of what happened, they're just going to continue to grow and be made up. Somehow you got to get the story out, what went on, and that's how he can move forward, and the Celtics franchise can move forward.
Yeah, but the legal niceties have to be addressed first, and then you can do that.
There were some legitimate voices, like on ESPN and these big talk shows during the day, that
and they all backtracked on it too, didn't they, Tim?
No, but there's still a few of them that are saying, you know, this is unfair to him. You know, I mean, I don't know what they know, what they don't know. I don't know.
Well, we'll know if there's a lawsuit. And these lawsuits usually come pretty damn quick while it's hot, because they want to try to get a settlement quick. So we'll know, but it's a situation where I think the Celtics are playing very well. I think that the leaders, the Jays, the Al Horfords, the Brogdons are keeping this team together. And if they can ride the storm out, this will end pretty quickly. And come playoff time, I think this team's going to even be stronger, both on and off the court. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the story's pretty much run its course now, right? Like, I don't think you'll see a little bit tomorrow, maybe the next day, but this story's life in Boston is over for a while until they hit the end of the year, and you know he's off of the quote year-long suspension. But I don't think you're going to hear much more of it from the Boston perspective.
You know, Joe has always made some great points, saying that the NBA especially has controlled the negative message, meaning we never hear these guys get arrested, Joe, anymore. They have parties where they just keep them all in the hotel and they can do whatever they want in a controlled environment. Joe, they haven't controlled this message for a while now. Shit has hit the fan in the NBA in the last month.
What message do you mean?
No, meaning, look, we, of course NBA players get arrested. They've been getting arrested since the NBA. Yeah. I mean, they used to get arrested daily. And when's the last time you heard an NBA player got arrested?
Well, what's his name down there in San Antonio, Primo? He probably would have ended up getting arrested.
But I'm saying I think they're losing control of the message. Yeah. They're losing control.
Well, yeah, I think there have been some flare-ups, Scotty. I think you're right between Primo. Well, remember, don't forget Miles Bridges got arrested for domestic violence and with his I think the mother of his child in front of his child. That let it all off late summer, and it has not gone well for the NBA over the last 10 weeks, which is probably why Silver called the Nets, because that's at least something they have control over, which is like, what are we doing? Why are we going to prolong this at this point?
Yeah, he needs to bring this in, because I would argue that the NBA is of the four sports have the most talented players when you look overall picture of talent. And whenever we talk about expansion, guys, I joke about expansion in any of the three leagues, but the NBA could expand. There are
Yes.
that many good players right now.
I think that's right. I
Oh,
think you
there's
could add-
thousands of great
Yeah.
basketball players in this world.
That's what, right. I mean, that's why there's no bad team. There are not going to be too many bad teams anymore in the NBA. These guys are,
No, they're drawing from the rest of the planet now too. That
yeah.
If you don't,
I mean-
if you're long, you're a basketball player. If you're short, you're a soccer player. Simple
Yeah.
as that. That's what 99% of the world is aiming to do.
all they need is a hoop, and they don't need a hockey rink or a football field. They just need a peach basket and a ball.
Same with soccer. Put a couple of cones up
Yep.
and that's it. You're good to go.
My boys, the Celtics have played 10 games, 7-3. We got to be happy where they're at right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, look, they had one grisly loss, which was that Bulls game where they just kind of no-showed. And then lost 2 overtime games to the Cavaliers, who were playing well, and one of them they didn't have Grant Williams. So I don't know. You take
what
that-
I'm most-
Don't you like the small lineup that they're running? The other night, they didn't have any centers. Rob's out, Al Horford sat out, and Cornette was down having a baby. So they had no centers. They had Tatum playing Rob Williams's position for 2 games straight there, the Knicks, and the last game there, the Grizzlies.
What I'm
Yeah,
most encouraged about is Tatum is improving. He's steadily getting better.
That Marcus Smart heard Russ's criticism and he changed his tune right away.
Yeah, right. Okay, boys, I would have given a lot to get a Duncan Robinson type. Then we go out and draft Neesmith because we wanted a Duncan Robinson type. And who knows,
We lucked
at any
into
point, his name is Sam Hauser.
Yeah. They just lucked into him, huh?
Well,
Is Sam Hauser for real, or is this just the early season?
look, I think they learned their lesson. They had Max Strus in camp and they let him go. They had the kid who's down in Houston, whose name I can't remember. He
Romeo
ended up last year. They cut him. I think the Celtics finally realized that you've got a guy who can shoot it in your ecosystem.
Yeah,
Hold on to him and give him some minutes and see what he can do.
yeah.
He's even getting better on defense. He's playing credible defense out there.
Well, he's a big kid
Yeah.
for a guard. I mean, he's slow, but what does this do for Peyton Pritchard? I mean, Peyton Pritchard has no role in this team right now.
He's redundant and he's 4 inches shorter.
Well, yeah. So what would you do, Scotty? So obviously, you've 2 choices with Pritchard. You hang on to him all the way through the deadline into the playoff season in case one of the top 3 guys gets injured because he showed he could play in the playoffs. Or do you say he's a luxury, we have other needs and we have to use him with a draft pick at the deadline to bring someone in who we think we can use to maybe take off some of the load from Tatum or Brown, or if you're worried about Rob, what would you do?
Yeah, I think you're not going to just look for a first round pick right now because that doesn't help you for this season. But like you said, Russ, you're going to keep him on the roster because you never know with injuries, all of a sudden there's a spot for him. The only way I would trade him would be, for a player that would help you right now that fits in need. But the problem is you're going to have to showcase him. So is Missoula have the ability to do that?
He has been showcased in the past. There's plenty of film on him. People know that he's dropped out of their rotation and he is likely to be available. So I'm sure GMs around the league have circled that name and are willing to come back to it. And the Celtics have those 2 trade exceptions, which are expiring the beginning of next year. And now they have the Gallinari exception too, because the hardship exception. So they could be able to add with Pritchard and maybe a draft pick. They could probably add someone substantial at the trade deadline if they need to pick up, a wing, a big man, a guard, whatever they're going to need. An injury could happen to anyone at any time. They could pick up someone substantial with these assets.
I have a warm, fuzzy feeling about Pritchard. I'm hoping he hangs around.
Oh, we all like him. He's a crowd favorite.
Nice. He just doesn't fit in the rotation. And when you don't fit in the rotation, game 10, that doesn't.
Scotty, you should be a GM because you're cold-blooded. There's no warm fuzzy feeling. You're like, we got a better guy. Get rid of him. Bring the next guy in.
Oh, I'm all about talent. You know that. You guys have known
I
that
know,
all the
I get
time.
Scotty's always about the next guy too. The
I
next
get
guy
emotionally
coming.
attached to these guys, and I hate if I like a guy, I hate to see him leave.
Yeah, I know. You always like the little pluggers, the Bruins type. And
Yep.
he's a little. You had a lot of types.
Those 5'6" French Canadian
Who
fire plugs.
who likes to fight? Right?
Yep.
So Celtics are doing some stuff that we talked about before the season. Given Al Horford, he's not playing back to back. Not a chance he's going to see that.
Yeah, we got another back to back this weekend.
Why do we need to? We're in like what third spot right now, which we all said that was a good spot. No reason to rush Rob Williams.
No,
Yeah,
and Cornette's back this weekend.
I would wait. I'd wait until Rob comes to you and says, I'm ready to play him 100%. And then I would say, so take another 3 weeks off.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, right.
Hey, Tatum's looks good in his role, don't you think? In that Roma's role, he takes the weakest guy on, just like Rob takes the worst offensive guy, and then he's just ready to block a shot anytime. He's in rebounding position. It's good. I like it.
Scotty, I think your guy Dwight Howard got the message that the Celtics were going to be able to bridge their way to Rob Williams' return because he decided to go play in Shanghai last week.
He did with Taco Fall then, right?
Yeah.
Taco looks like $1 million there. Jeez.
He sure does, right? All of a sudden, he looks like a different player. I wouldn't mind seeing him at the end of the bench.
he was a real crowd favorite.
Oh, I think it kind of annoyed Brad Stevens because he had to adjust the Taco Fall situation almost every game. Right?
It was like the same guys that were chanting for Zappy were always chanting for Taco.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's for.
I think he wanted to be rid of that distraction.
Yeah,
I
agree.
The Patriots should get the strength and conditioning coach of the Celtics. It's pretty clear these kids have got lots of stronger. Tatum and Brown, it shows. And there's nobody stronger in that team than Brogdon. Oh my God!
You know who started that was that guy we traded away in deadline last year, Jay Rich.
Oh yeah,
he started that lifting after every win program that they do now. After every win, the Celtics lift. You know, they together. It's a big deal. You know, they have a little party for themselves.
I'll tell you something. You know, I love Brogdon, and I just can't say enough about this guy.
He, you know, just someone to be able to get the ball to the rim and then kick it out really consistently. There are very few guards in the league who can stop that guy from getting the ball into the key. And that unlocks all sorts of offense. And they only really had 2 guys last year who could do that, right?
And you can see it in the 3-point percentage now. The kick out is to a guy wide open where he's, crammed up the paint. They're shooting threes like never before and shooting 50% too.
I was watching the New York Knicks broadcast of the Celtics game because I was streaming it, and Walt Frazier and Mike Breen, those two spent the whole game talking about Brogdon.
Really?
What a freaking acquisition he was. My God.
Yeah. I don't even,
so smooth. The smoothness he is like butter out there, you know.
Who's more valuable? I know Timmy's going to pipe in. You know the question. Who's more valuable, Brogdon or Smart?
I think Smart. Smart is the identity of this team. He has Celtic tattooed on his heart. You know.
Yeah, the green hair counts for something.
At this point, I consider Brogdon a bit of a mercenary. You know, he's new to the team. I mean, Smart is the Celtics.
I just think, you know, when you watch Smart play defense, he's a much better defensive player than Brogdon. Brogdon's not bad, but Smart is just another level defensively. So I think it's a thing that sets him apart, Scott.
Okay, so you got Smart. Timmy has Smart. Joe?
Oh, Smart, definitely. I mean, that's not even close. You,
Oh, I
if
don't
you
know
if you
about
want if you
All right,
want a closer
let me get what
comparison,
Scotty says.
it would be Tatum or Smart who's the face of the Celtics.
Here comes Scotty Smart bashing.
Yeah,
Go
by
ahead,
the end of
Scotty.
the season, it's gonna be Brogdon. It's not even gonna be.
Jimmy's
close.
right.
We knew that was coming.
Brogdon's a mercenary.
Brogdon is so much better offensively than Marcus
Oh,
Smart.
yes, he is. But Marcus is so much better defensively, and he's got green hair.
You know, those
Scotty,
Scotty.
Scotty just can't miss a chance to bash
No, that's
my
true.
main man.
No, that's not true. I'm going to defend my friend Scott. He's
Yeah.
been more open-minded. He's not been hammering Marcus. And I think really the thing to look out for will be, will they start to put Brogdon in the closing lineup with Smart, right? And those. And
They did though, right?
They
Did they 2 games ago?
Yeah.
I'd like to see more of that.
Yeah, and that would, again, this is all about how you're going to play Golden State.
Yeah, and Smart shooting from the outside has been abysmal this year. I mean, he's got to get hot. He cannot shoot 20-25% from three. He just can't. I'm sorry. So it's got to improve.
And they're
Okay.
wide open threes too. He's blowing.
Okay, we got to talk before we finish the Celtics with Grant Williams. Did the Celtics make a mistake by not
No.
amping up a couple million more a year?
No.
We'll see. I don't know. I mean, remember, they got the right of first refusal. They can match any offer that anyone gives them next summer. He's
But
not
I'm
really-
afraid it's going to be a Kelly Olynyk kind of thing. Someone's going to give him some money, and they're going to find out he's not a starter. He's a rotation guy.
You know what's funny? 12 months ago, we couldn't have got a bag of balls for him.
Mhm.
Yeah. But in this current climate, he's a $15 million a year player.
Yeah,
I just
probably. Look, and if they have to pay him 15, they pay him 15. Horford's contract comes off the books. Horford's not making more than 10, $12 million next year. That's just the way it is.
right.
And
All
he's
right.
probably not even on the team next year.
They're going to probably want to keep him on the team, especially if they win a
How-
championship.
If
How
they
old
win
is
a
it?
championship, possibly.
Maybe.
How old is Al now?
37?
No,
Yeah,
I
he's-
don't think he's that
No,
old.
34, I think.
34, I think. yeah.
But he's got some tread on him, boys. Remember,
Oh, yeah.
he played
Yeah,
like
he
16 years at
hasn't
the
been
University of
good
Florida.
by any stretch this
Actually,
year.
Scotty,
He's been
you are-
awful.
He's going to be 37 in June. He's 36. So
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
he has looked terrible though this year. I know it's early and the games don't mean as much, but he has not looked good early.
well,
36 is
He's
like the
very
backup.
slow getting up and down, getting back on defense. He's been taken advantage of defensively too by a couple of guys.
36 is like a magic number, and like things start to dramatically change.
Unless your name
Also,
is
he
Tom
played-
Brady.
Joe, he played at such an intense level in the playoffs. You got to give him a break.
Oh yeah.
He's not gonna.
I think that's what I'm saying is maybe he's just being lackadaisical early on. He was like this last year. He'd have a good month, bad month, good month, bad month going into the playoffs.
That man's played a lot of basketball in the
Oh,
last
yeah.
20 years.
He
Yeah,
knows
again.
when to coast, I think.
He was such a stud at the University of Florida. It was ridiculous. All right, boys, we go to the New England Patriots. I know we won. I know the Colts suck. And I love Mac Daddy, but that was so incredibly difficult to watch him play quarterback for the Patriots last Sunday.
You still high on him, Scotty?
Well, of course I am. I mean, because they don't grow on trees, Timmy.
Well, he's just not. He's predetermining who he's throwing the ball to. When he takes the snap, he doesn't even look anywhere else but where he's going. It doesn't matter if this guy's triple covered or quadruple covered. He's still throwing it at him.
Now, if you
Russ,
listen to his interview, he's saying he's being told to look in an area, and that's what I got out of that interview with him. I'm just doing what I'm told.
Russ, he's not a smart quarterback right now, it seems.
I think he's out of sorts, right? There's something wrong in the offense. It's got him out of sorts. And so both things can be true. You can have a bad offensive game plan, and he could actually be playing badly, right? Like throwing the ball, not being accurate, not throwing to the ball to the right guys. And they're just out of sorts. They're out of sync. It just looks really, really bad. It's hard to watch. I'm not giving up hope on him. But
No.
you have to put some blame on him. He's
You know
not
what?
playing.
I'll tell you, I feel he's not playing instinctually. He's playing tight, like afraid to make, like he's not playing. You know, when you've all played sports, when you're playing freely, you're not thinking, you're just doing. You know, he's just not doing. He's thinking too much.
Well, he doesn't have confidence in his offensive line,
I
and
think
there's
that's
reason
right,
for
yeah.
it because they all stink.
Yeah.
Well, he gets
mean-
I think he's getting Andrews back this week. That'll help on the calls. But he's got to step up in the pocket once in a while. You can't retreat all the time. You have to step. They've been giving him a pocket and he won't step up into it. He runs away.
And some of the play calling has been atrocious.
Oh yeah, it's too elementary, too vanilla. And Mac complains it's not elementary enough and it's not vanilla enough.
What
wants
do
it
you
easy.
guys, Scotty, what do you make of this whole thing about the other team knowing our plays? You know,
Well, because I think they're so predictable and they're such
Right.
limited and so limited. Look, you can bet the house right now, boys. If it's second and long, they're doing a running play.
yeah,
Well, no, they were making the call on the fields, looking at, I think it was more the communication between Ferentz and Mac that was tipping the plays.
Well, whatever, Joe. They're very predictable. We can predict them, and we're at home.
Oh, yeah. But
I mean,
but they knew what the play was because of the communication between Ferentz and Mac, which I don't think would be an issue with Andrews and Mac.
Now, maybe this has been brought up, fellas, but did they dumb down the offense not for Mac Jones, but for Matt Patricia?
yes.
Because he can't call plays. He needed to keep it simple for his play calling.
I believe that. Yeah, I believe that, and that there's some really fundamental things that are not happening. Dan Orlovsky had this amazing video. He was so mad that Mac was taking so much criticism that he broke down a couple of plays, and he just showed these 3rd and 4 with receivers running routes that made no sense and were
I
badly
saw that
timed.
film study.
Yeah.
Literally, just a joke. And he was like, no quarterback is going to be successful on a play like that. The best
he's
quarterback in the history of the NFL was not going to be successful on a play that's run like that.
Guess who's going to be coaching on the Colts staff probably by next week?
Who?
Dan Orlovsky.
Oh, yeah, that makes
His
sense.
best friend Saturday has been named the head coach, and Orlovsky has told him he wants to get into coaching.
Timmy, why is Belichick allowing? He's got to see what we see.
Great question, Scott. You would think he would take the reins back, right? I mean, and say, this isn't working. Let me take control of this. It's perplexing sometimes. Some things we see so clearly, and the people who are actually doing it don't see. I don't understand. I have no answer for that.
Maybe this bye week will give them time. Usually the bye week is used for self-criticism and, taking a look at the bigger picture. Maybe things will change coming out of this bye week. Well, no, they got a pretty good opponent coming up in the Jets. So,
Well,
and
are
they
we
got
all?
the Bills twice. I think they have the second hardest schedule going forward.
Yeah, they do. I'm scoreboard watching the Vegas Raiders because we need as many losses as possible. I thought the Jaguars' defeat of the Raiders would get Josh McDaniels out the door, because I would imagine Josh gets fired and half an hour later he's on a plane to Foxborough.
If he's still getting paid by Vegas.
Yeah, probably. Although my guess is
I don't think they would.
They can't fire him.
They let
no
him
way
take.
they
They
can.
let him take the whole coaching staff with him, and and then he took more. So I think they would say, go shit.
All the
no
money they're
way.
paying,
No
all the
way.
money they're paying Gruden, and they're going to be paying him, and then another guy that they bring in. I can't imagine.
Yeah, I think Tim makes a good point there. Yeah, they're not gonna,
Okay.
that guy's cheap, you know, Davis is cheap. He's not gonna want to pay 3 coaches.
So you don't think, Russ, you don't think they would take McDaniels back?
I think that he's got this year and probably at least halfway through next year. I mean, new coach, new system, not the player. They haven't, you know, they've not built the team around what McDaniels wants to do yet. So you got to give him a shot at putting guys into place who can play the system that he wants to run.
But it looked, yeah, he's gonna have to get rid of the whole locker room, though, it sounds like. They were in mutiny
I'm
on
sure.
that team.
Some
Are they, I haven't read it. Are they hating him, the players?
Yes, the players don't like this.
Well, the
Including the
players don't like
quarterback, which is
losing.
a hard one. You got to have the quarterback on your side anyways. And it looks like the quarterback has abandoned him.
Wow, that's awful early in his tenure for everybody to start jumping ship. I had not heard that, but clearly
Yeah,
it's not going well.
Carr had some choice words after the game last
Carr's
week.
a coach killer. You know,
Well,
Carr's
he
never
looks
reached
like
his
he's trying to
potential.
kill this. But Gruden had them in the playoffs, you know, and now all of a sudden they're the worst team in the NFL.
Yeah, no, it's not good. Obviously, Vegas
And the offense is what's bad.
Look, Vegas comes in the first. The hockey team comes in the first year they're in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Final, yeah.
These people had expectations when the Raiders came and they haven't been fulfilled. Look, do the Patriots fix the problem, guys, moving forward offensively, Russ?
Nah.
No, I don't think they do because the offensive line won't allow him to. Right? Like you can have all the best laid plans, and if the guys can't block it, you got a big problem at right guard, Joe. I mean, you got nothing at right guard right now.
Michael Owenu.
I mean, right tackle. Sorry.
Yeah, that's the revolving door right now. Yeah, Russ is right. You know, you can only go as far as the talent. You can coach like crazy and win go 9-8 when anyone else would have this as a 2-15 team. They don't have the talent. They've got to what have they got? 17 rookies on this team. They're revamping. They're basically starting from scratch, but throwing a few wins in there instead of tanking.
Can we get Dante Scarnecchia on a plane back to Boston
He
somehow?
still comes in at once a week, Tim.
Does he?
Yeah.
Timmy, is Judon? When's the last time you saw a linebacker like Judon on the New England Patriots? Would be Tippett?
Do you remember Tippett being this good? I mean,
Oh yeah, Tippett was good. Remember Tippett and Blackman?
Judon's just in another world right now. He's so good,
He's in the backfield every play.
doing everything.
Your favorite, Josh Uche, had 3 sacks.
Oh, I know. What happened there? Where's he been?
Well, they were teeing off on that kid. They knew he couldn't handle a blitz, so they were blitzing him almost every play.
I mean, can Uche play at all, or was that just a mirage?
Oh, a terrible team tanking is what they were playing. You know, that was a disgrace, that offense. I mean, you can't call that a great defensive effort because that offense was so terrible.
Now, is there a star quarterback coming out of college who's the big prize to get #1 this year?
Yeah, right. The
Kid from Alabama.
Alabama, right?
Yeah,
He's
they're
going to go
very high.
#1, right? What's his name?
Brock Styles.
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he'll go #1. I saw someone else. I think will go #2 or 3.
There's like 3 big quarterbacks they're happy with. No, I'm sure Josh is aiming to get one of them.
All right, boys. Well, so
Certainly helps when you have one.
That's
Right.
been Bob Irsay's way to get a winner with Peyton and with
Luck.
Luck. You know, just tank. But when there's a great quarterback, like he missed the boat with your friend there from Clemson.
Yeah.
I didn't hear the press conference. Was Irsay just like high the whole time?
Yeah, you know, he's Bob Irsay. He's kind of crazy.
I used to hang out with him at the Colts Patriots games. He was quite a character.
Yeah, because Jeff Saturday, when he got hired, didn't know why.
Well, he was a head high school coach there at New Hebron Christian Academy.
No, when they said we wanted to hire him, that's when I'm not even joking. He go, why? Why do you want to hire me?
Because he's good on TV. I
Yeah.
don't know.
And they have some intern who's gonna be, it's like, kind of Make-A-Wish program. They have an intern who is going to call the plays.
Yeah, I would,
Thank you.
I'd bet the under on the Colts pretty much week to week.
Yeah.
Oh, I was so
This
pissed
guy
off.
knows how to. This guy knows how to get those #1 draft picks.
Yep.
I was watching the game with Max, and I said, what was the spread of this? It was 4.5. The Patriots Colts. Oh my God, that was stealing.
Well, guys, can we all get rich through his machinations here? I mean, should we just put the house on anyone playing the Colts?
Well, I think Vegas has figured out.
Bet the under. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I think they read the newspapers too. They know that the intern who's bringing coffee is now calling the plays. I mean, it just shows you these franchises are worth billions of dollars, but they run like a bunch of clowns.
Or he wants the #1 pick, and he doesn't care what anyone thinks. This is how I'm going to get it.
Oh no, Timmy, it's way too late. They've already won 3 games.
It's not too late yet. Josh could throw a monkey wrench in there by winning another game and screw it up. That's Josh McDaniel. He can screw up anything.
There are a lot of bad NFL teams.
Would we rather be that or in football purgatory like the Patriots are right now?
Well, I think the Patriots had a hell of a draft, to be honest.
Yeah, but it's all about the franchise quarterback, and is Mac the guy? The jury's out.
Well,
Oh, Scotty, I can see you turn red when I say that.
You can always get another quarterback. There's people have done it dozens of different ways. Jimmy G is a free agent right there. Next year, you can get Jimmy G back.
But Joe, I mean that the top guys, the guys we're going to bring you to the promised land.
Well, Jimmy G's top 4. If you look at the stats,
top 4. No, come on, what are you talking?
Oh, in the advanced metrics, he's way up there.
Okay, I don't know. He's obviously the top 4 most handsome guy.
But there's ways to get guys.
No,
the Patriots, we know they're not the kind that go out and throw a gazillion dollars.
Lamar Jackson's a free agent.
Oh,
if you like that.
Going anywhere. You gotta be kidding me. He's not going anywhere.
But no, he's going to go to the highest bidder.
Yeah, he's going to go somewhere.
He's already turned down. He turned down Baltimore already and said,
"I'm not." Franchise tag him for 2 years at the very least. He's not going anywhere. That's their franchise. He's one of the top players in the NFL. You might as well fold up and move to Indianapolis again if you're Baltimore.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson, Russell. Who would you take right now, Zach Wilson or Mac Jones?
I'd probably take Mac because he's actually proven that he can play a high quality NFL quarterback. Zach Wilson certainly has not. I do think a very interesting question is emerging, which is, would you take Justin Fields or Mac Jones at this point?
Well, how about even Davis Mills or Mac Jones?
Come
on, Timmy. Zach Wilson or Mac Jones?
I'll take exactly what the professor said. Zach has at least shown he can do it. I mean, Mac has. This other guy hasn't ever shown that he can do anything.
Uncle Joe.
Oh, I'll take Mac over. I don't like Zach Wilson, but Justin Fields, now you're talking.
Yeah. 178 yards rushing.
Yeah, but we know that doesn't last. Now
it seems to. Name one that's got anyone who's gotten hurt in the last 5 years.
Lamar Jackson, people said it about him, right?
Yeah.
He seems to be doing all right.
So I was watching
Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and they're all still playing.
I was watching the Sunday night game with Lucas a few weeks ago against the Packers Bills, and I don't know if you watched that second half. The Bills looked absolutely pathetic, and Josh Allen looked like the whole league at that one moment had figured out how to play against Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Then on Sunday, they lose to a pathetic Jets team, and they're pathetic. I mean, that's a bad team, no matter what people want to say. And now he may be hurt. Bills are very much vulnerable right now. Does that put the Patriots in the mix?
Yeah, they've got two games left against them. You win both of those games, which is very, very unlikely, it seems, but you're right that in close games, Allen has not thrived in close games. If the Patriots could ever win both of those, then all of a sudden you're looking at a division win.
I don't know, they'd still have Miami well
Yeah, they got
ahead of
another,
them.
but they do have another game against Miami.
Yeah, we should have beat them the first time.
Yeah.
Well, those Buffalo fans, they'll be mass suicide because they haven't had a team this talented, and they were primed to
They used to
go.
it, Tim. Remember, they went to 4 Super Bowls in a row and lost every
but,
one of
no.
them.
This
Oh my
they had
God.
me convinced. They had me convinced they were the team to beat this year. And if
And
they
that's
flop on
remarkable.
their face, boy, it's gonna be mayhem up there.
They had tons of Hall of Famers. They had huge names in those 4 teams.
Oh, yeah.
To not win one is just incredible.
Well, that's why Belichick's defensive game plan is the Hall of Fame on that game when the Giants beat them on the wide right.
I don't know why it was. I mean, if the guy had made a field goal, they would have lost the game. So, but okay, I'll give him that.
Well, they were supposed to lose by 3 scores.
What's the update on Allen's injury?
Doesn't seem like it's gonna keep him out for more than a week or 2 at the most. He might even play on Sunday.
Yeah, he's practicing and talking about playing, but I would be on you're on the side of caution, like Russ says, and keep him out. Why? You're in first place. You can afford a loss if it came to that.
All right, boys, let's because we have no game this week. It's a bye week, so we have no predictions. So now we have to talk about the Boston Red Sox. First of all, I cannot congratulate the Houston Astros because they're a bunch of scumbags. I'm glad the season's
Even
over.
with Vasquez on the team?
Yeah, he was kind of like Timmy would say, a mercenary. I mean, really, was it? He was whining that he didn't want to be on the team most of the time. They only played him 3 games during the playoffs. I mean, come on,
He came up big though. Came up big.
No, we did. So Hein Bloom is now at what? What is he at? Some meetings? GM
Yeah.
meetings? Why hasn't he signed up?
Is he on double secret probation this year?
Oh,
Well, the other 3 teams in town are winning. Hyman better get off his ass and do something at those meetings because we want to see some action amongst the Reds with the Reds.
Not only have they lost, they have lost ugly. It's a freaking sinking ship over there. And I don't see a way out, Joe.
Last place and led the league in blown saves.
well, if you listen to Twitter at all, just the fans, they better listen and re-sign Xander Bogaerts, or there's going to be a lot of people jumping ship. And I believe it.
It doesn't look like Heim has any intention of it. He let him opt out, right?
Someone had the guts to say it in an article in the Globe. I might have been yesterday. They said you cannot continue to charge the highest prices in the league and continue to put this kind of product on the field.
And they raised the prices 1.5% to 2%, depending on where you're sitting.
Listen,
are they going to do this?
People go, "Oh, we won four World Series." I'm sorry, that doesn't pay my season tickets this year. That doesn't pay $50 for parking. Not that I've ever paid for parking. That doesn't pay, $13 for a hot dog. You're paying high price. You want high return.
Okay, I've asked this question maybe 3 or 4 times as we progress. I'm going to ask the same thing. We'll start with Russ again. Russ, is Xander Bogaerts a member of the Boston Red Sox?
I would say yes, but I'm not that confident in that answer.
Okay. Give me a percentage. Over 50% then.
Yeah, like between 50 and 55, like not much.
Okay. Timmy.
I was going to say yes until my trusted source, the professor, just said that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to mix up
I think they have no choice, but they have no choice but to sign him. They have to sign him.
Why haven't they signed him?
I don't know, but my God, if they don't sign him, what's good? I can't even fathom that he doesn't get signed.
Joe?
I would. Now, Russ says probably 60-40 they do sign him. I'll be 40-60 that they don't.
Wow.
I would have said 99% they were going to sign him at the end of the season. But ever since then, no action.
Yeah.
Then they let Xander opt out. And then you see reports in the rumor pages about them looking at second basemen and shortstops around the league. You know, it doesn't fill you with confidence.
If I'm telling you right now, if Kike Hernandez is the starting shortstop for
Forget it.
the Red Sox next year, Scott Kerman is going to lose his ever freaking loving mind. He's going to be impossible to deal with.
Lock up the weapons. Lock up the
Yeah.
weapons. That's all I'll say.
Well, I
No
have to tell
sharp
you something.
objects allowed in the house.
I have to tell you something, and Russ knows this. Like Theo Epstein, Heimblum is very corporate, and when he speaks, there are messages that he puts in there, little subtle messages. And when he said that, we're going to look at all alternatives at this and that,
Yes.
0%. Xander Bogaerts is gone. 0%. The moment I read that quote, it means he's already moved on from Xander Bogaerts. Because if they were going to sign him, they would have already done it. They've had way too many opportunities.
I agree. He wouldn't have gotten to the opt-out part. He would have signed and renegotiated.
Now, is this John Henry or is this Hein Bloom? Who drew the line in the sand with this?
Heim.
No.
Right, he was hired to.
Yeah, right. Look, I think you guys are right. I think that Heimblum is supposed to just run a kind of Tampa kind of organization.
So he's been hired to fall on the sword.
To just keep on bringing stuff down. Not Russ, I know we have a big payroll, but keep paring it down $20-30 million a year until you get to a certain level that Henry's comfortable with.
Well, I think Heim's problem is he looks at the big picture too much about fixing the entire organization. We only care about one part of the organization, the major league team that they put on the field.
Yeah, because
And
that's
that
what we
should be
paid
his
for.
priority. Yes.
I'm not paying for next year. I'm paying for now, the game I'm sitting at watching.
I'm not paying for Greenville's team, and I'm not paying for Portland's team. I want the Boston Red Sox to be the team.
But
Scotty,
Scott
we
Boras,
did the math. We know that this team, even with this high payroll, is massively profitable. Is it just pure greed that he's being said, listen, I made 190 million off it last year. I want to be making 400 million off it.
Yes, it's a line item. Look, he's now rumored about buying the Commanders today.
Yep, I was going to mention that.
He's and Russ shared with us a few days ago that he's looking to sell Liverpool.
Yeah.
He's just moving parts now. That's all this is.
It's he's playing sort of Monte Carlo theory with sports franchises at this point in time, just hoping that one of them hits it. And so we're the customers of a franchise that is just one of many in that stable, one of many business interests in that stable. And we're no longer the Red Sox are no longer his primary or sole focus. And I don't see anything changing on that.
No.
Well, I still think it's his flagship organization, the one that makes him the money. He's selling Liverpool because it doesn't make as much money.
No.
$1 zillion
He's
dollars from that. I mean,
He's selling
but-
Liverpool because he cannot compete against the Saudis anymore.
right.
Oh,
He's-
didn't you think he was one of the main guys trying to form that Super League? Do you think when he bought them, that was part of his master plan?
Well,
And now that looks like it's not going to happen,
Yeah.
he's saying, well, it's time to bail out.
Good
well, see,
point.
they don't have any rookies or any salary structures there. You got to pay full dollar for every single guy there. There's none of this 6 years before you can become a free agent. You're a free agent from day one in that. So it's hard to make money at that.
But also,
Premier League.
look, billionaires do not like to be criticized. He took a step back because he was getting criticized a lot here. He's now getting ripped in Liverpool. There's those people, those English are nasty. They're nastier than we are. He doesn't like it. He liked going in there with his little trophy wife and being everybody adoring him over there because they won a title, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did.
And then all of a sudden, the expectations get higher. He can't compete against the Saudis. He knows he's going to be a second league tier team. and he wants out and he wants to make a little money.
Well, and like Kim said, that Super League thing, that really rubbed people the wrong way out over there.
Yeah.
You know, he was trying to set up an American style league where he could control costs on the younger players. and
Okay,
they
we gotta
don't
go,
do that.
we gotta go to the Bruins. I cannot understand what Cam Neely and Sweeney were doing. Russ shared with us a few hours ago a statement made by the victim, the one who had been bullied for all these years, and it was very heartfelt. And just, if you definitely had to be emotional reading that. What did they do? Why did they do it? Why did they not listen to their players? What is going on with those two clowns?
And what I don't understand is there's no reason to be desperate from the franchise's perspective, is there, Timmy? You start off, you're the best team in hockey this year. So yeah, you've got some issues with younger players, but you've got some guys coming up. Like this doesn't seem to be a sort of any sort of reason to be desperate, but that's what a desperate franchise does.
The only thing I can think is they thought the kid was 14 years old when this happened, and people would maybe give the kid a bit of a pass, and that did not happen.
Well, they didn't count on that mother, and they should have, because she was hell on wheels. She was right up here with the TV stations as soon as it happened.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Bergeron. He's the one who got tied with this same brush.
And the kid's a very talented player.
Did you see his interview in Toronto when he didn't know this was all going to happen, and he signed off on it, and then he had to retract it.
As a hockey player, he would help your team. He would help your team. The kid is a very, very good hockey player. They just weren't expecting this,
But why would the organization, and they do this all the time now, they don't come out right away. They make the players answer to their moves. And it's just disgusting. Why was Bergeron and the Marchands having to talk about this? Where was Neely and Sweeney during all
that Toronto reporter knew something, because he grabbed Bergeron right away and got that interview. Then the next day, Bergeron retracted everything and Marchand went up. But that Toronto reporter knew something. He's probably the one who clued in the mother and got her, because she was hell on wheels. She was up here in no time.
Yeah, they did let him go. They didn't hold on to him. They did let him go.
Was part of this move because he's been ripped so hard for his drafting, kind of a way to start building up the farm system in another way, so we can
the reality of it is this kid's as a hockey player, he's gonna help your organization. As a human being, they look that way. Let me bring him in the back door while nobody's looking. And as Joe said, the mother wasn't having any part of it.
And the NHL itself had said he wasn't going to be allowed to play.
Exactly. I mean, Bettman comes out and says most likely he's never going to be approved to play one game in the NHL. How do you not call the NHL first before you do this?
Yeah, he can never do it. Do you any good. So why do you sign him?
The lack of due diligence on this is astounding. You know? They didn't talk to the kid. They didn't talk to the kid's mother. They didn't talk to the league. Right? They didn't talk to anybody who could have given them any perspective about how bad a decision this was.
Except some scout.
So if they didn't do any of that, what did they do?
They probably talked to a guy in the International League.
And that's really what it comes down to is, any sort of corporation makes this kind of mistake, someone's head rolls, because you didn't do all of the obvious things to do, you didn't do.
Okay, right. But Neely, did you see the 5-minute uncomfortable press conference with Neely?
Yeah.
Did you see that, guys?
I mean, I saw the highlights of it. I didn't watch it live, but I saw the highlights. I read it all.
He doesn't even act, he acts like Sweeney did everything and that he had no knowledge pretty much till the end.
How do you think Sweeney feels about that?
Not good.
He totally threw him under the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's how Cam has survived
Well, that might,
over
it
there
might be,
so
it
long.
might be true though.
It might be true. Yeah.
But that's still a fireable offense. You run the team.
I mean,
You
does
have liability of everything.
Sweeney go to Cam Neely and talk about every guy that they're signing to?
Oh, I think on this one,
Yeah.
this one is radioactive. Like, ask the question, Timmy, you would do this, like, hey,
Like,
that makes
first,
sense.
I'd say,
We-
why is he available? Like, you run into this beautiful girl who seems sweet and and you go, why is she available?
Yeah,
You know?
like, why? And then you say, did anyone talk to the family?
Yeah. Why are we getting them so
Yeah.
cheap? Why is this
Not a
guy-
natural, anyone talk to the family, verify this kid's story, said he apologized, his agent said he apologized. Sounds like they called the agent up and they said, yeah, did he apologize? Yeah, well, he apologized 3 days ago for
Yeah.
something that happened 4 years ago or 5 years
Well,
ago.
wasn't he a 4th round pick and then they got rid of him?
Yeah, it was like that kid Christian Peter for the
Yeah.
right, for the
Yeah.
Patriots. Like,
He
drafted
probably
him.
would have been a much higher pick, but he was radioactive even back then.
Right.
Sounds like he's a talented kid.
It just doesn't, Timmy, you know this franchise way better than anybody. Just doesn't, this is not in character for this franchise. This
I
franchise
agree.
does not do
I
stupid
agree.
stuff like
This is one of the worst moves that I've seen.
It
One of
may
the
have
really
been
the faux
doing a
pas.
favor for an agent to get someone else, but it all backfired.
Timmy, I mean, Joe, I don't think this agent, this woman, like, I don't think she represents that many other players. Like,
It
this
didn't
is
seem
not
like it, like she was new. She was.
yeah,
she
this
was
is
supposed-
not like doing a favor for an
Is
agent.
this enough to get somebody fired?
I think
Yes.
so. I
It
mean,
should be.
If Sweeney
not
was
going to.
walking the edge, if Sweeney's been walking the edge for the last 2 years.
Well, you
Yeah,
can.
they gave him a big. We just signed him to a new contract at the end of last year.
Sweeney gets fired, he's not coming. He's not leaving quietly.
oh, right. Hey, how about that David Krejci?
He's played.
Hey, he's
Oh my God, I
got,
can do it every week.
about that. Scotty tried to just cover it up with all this talk about this other guy. He wanted to finish the show without this coming up, Russell. Thank you.
David Krejci
Oh,
was out
false
this
dad,
week.
Krejci.
He didn't play a couple games, right?
He
So
may-
Charlie, and
might
I
have had a
think, I think I read today that McAvoy might be back tomorrow night, Timmy.
Boy, look at
he's
so
been-
I haven't heard that. I've been kind of busy, but I went to the game. Just 2 unbelievably solid lines right now. I mean, I got exhausted watching.
Hey, the
Marchand
Coil
kill
line's
that.
been the best line though.
Yeah,
Why
I
are the
mean,
Bruins
they're
better
solid.
than last year?
watching Marchand kill those 2 penalties. I was exhausted watching.
That's a
him do it.
great question, Scott. Like, why are they better than they were last year? I think it feels like Coyle's playing better, right? The kid Greer is playing well, and we can joke about Krejci, but now he makes that other line whole, right?
Yeah,
right.
And he may get injured, and he's old. So I'm in all seriousness, but so far he's given you a legitimate first line.
Whatever his skill set is, it fits with those 2 guys on that line. It complements what they do.
Well, clearly, I'm giving it to you, Russ. You're getting your little love. He was the main acquisition for a team that from last year. So it's like we talk about baseball all the time. If all of a sudden you can plug and play JD Martinez in the 6th spot, you change your lineup immeasurably. Krejci brings everybody else, goes down a little level and to positions that they're comfortable in.
DeBrusque playing great.
Exactly.
Hey,
So-
even Foligno,
Yeah.
who I wanted shipped out of town, is playing way over his head.
Well,
all 4 lines are getting something.
The elephant in the room, Scotty, is of course, it wasn't the only acquisition. The other acquisition was Montgomery over Cassidy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that they are tied with the best record with another team? And that happens to be coached by who? Cassidy.
Bruce Cassidy. But everybody loves Bruce Cassidy. The fans love him.
Oh,
So
he was
we
a
all
fan
wish him
favorite,
well.
not a
I mean,
player's favorite.
No, Bergeron was asked that, and he went around it. He said,
Gentleman.
definitely a different voice. and we're embracing the voice. And then he said nice things about Bruce Cassidy, but he's very happy that he's gone.
I'll say what Cassidy is. Cassidy's a good change of pace that for a team that really needs a kick in the end.
Good cop, bad cop.
Yeah.
Bergeron would not be on the Bruins right now. He'd be retired if Cassidy was still the coach. I do believe that.
I think you're right.
Sometimes you need a change of pace. Sometimes you got a bad guy, and then you need a good, nice guy to come in. Sometimes you got a nice guy, you need a tough guy to come in.
Yeah, Cassidy always said it was the player's fault. It was never his fault. He was
Okay,
always calling on someone.
One more question before the show ends. We'll start with Joe. What Bruins have to go for it this year? They got to. This is trade every future pick. This is your window. This is your last chance. What position, Joe, do you go get?
Another goalie. I don't think Swayman is up to the task of even being the second goalie. And I'm a Swayman guy. I wanted Swayman in the worst way. And Ullmark's a fine second goalie, but we need a first goalie.
Timmy.
I think Joe's pretty right there, and I would like a top four defenseman.
Wow.
Another big guy to go.
Like a big, solid veteran NHL guy whose contract is running out and the team doesn't think they can sign him.
Because Carlo and Grizzlick are going to get hurt again. You know it.
Yeah, and they're not really that physical. Carlo's a big guy, but he doesn't throw his weight.
He gets
around.
a concussion every other week. You know?
I'm with you on the
Russell.
defenseman. I would focus on a defenseman. You look at what Hampus has brought to this team, and if you just need defensive depth as you go into the playoffs, because one injury could knock that whole operation off its foundation.
We saw the Blues beat us that way.
Yep.
Just by attrition, picking them off one by one.
The Blues, I think the defense average 6'6" across the board.
Yeah.
Except for Krug, that is,
Yeah, we need a big physical guy. Absolutely. It's definitely defense. But you're going to mortgage the future. Go get a scorer again. Do whatever you can. This is it. I mean, this is the most important year.
They seem to have the mojo that you're looking
for. It.
This is it. I mean, and I think we can all agree. Would you take a Stanley Cup and then have 10 years of barren?
Well, not 10. I'd take 5. Not 10.
5. Okay, 5. So we can agree and we get this on tape?
Yeah.
I'll take 3. I only take 3.
Joe, what do you got, a week?
Oh yeah, I want a championship every year. I'm not getting any younger.
None of us are, Joe. All right, so that was a great show tonight. Want to thank Adam behind the scenes. Want to thank the fellas. Please check us out on Spotify. Sign up, and you'll get all this wonderful information weekly. My name is Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.